Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes. No, I used to work at different industry, but I did work with the microservices. I did work with the APIs. Yeah, yeah, banking wasn't there.
make client. So they consuming our API, and then so when customer is doing something there, so no it's kind of a they send us a API request and we receive it. So we're kind of going through different our downstream. So we're just a middle layer between the customers facing application and our banking downstream. So I'm not really sure for the banking how do I put. So like back in 20 years ago, maybe 30 years ago, the bank is using mainframe, which is a giant computer that's developed by IBM. So I believe some of them are still using it. So, but just that the system at backend is very complex and very, I don't know. I don't know how to put it. I'm not really familiar with it too, but they have a different backend. So what we're doing is so when the customers, which is doing from the mobile app, send us the request, and then we are the bridge to connect to the downstream. So for example, we have this database already cache. They have some cache in there to store customers' information. And also we will go to the SOL. So SOL is our Scotia Online, which is our web phone of if you go to Scotia Banking login, personal banking. This is the one you log into. That's the SOL. So if you have a card, you just log into here. So this is the SOL where's my page? So they have a database, they have their own systems, they have everything. So we kind of grab things from them and then return back to the customers. So basically, we were just a middle layer processing some data from different downstreams. So also, if you're doing the EMT, then they go to Interact. So we will talk to Interact, things like that. So there's multiple steps when we using certain this endpoint. So when we decide to add a recipient, we talk to Interact, and then blah blah blah. We try to cache the customer's information from whatever database or SOL, and then we reply back to the Nova, which is the mobile app.
I see.
So this is kind of our logic here. So they have so many different functions. So different function, they will go through different steps. So how about, yeah. So you see here we're talking to different, so Marvel customers, I think this is the data team service. So we basically talk to different service to grab different data and then put them together, send it back to the customer side. Any questions?
No, so far everything clear. I'm listening. I mean, thanks a lot.
Yeah, because I'm not really sure, so I can't really go into details because I don't know the functionality too well. But you just imagine when you're doing e-transfer, that's the logic behind the thing. And then so what we are doing is just this certain endpoint we are maintaining, and they are connecting to multiple downstream, and then also we have a few other different clients that's consuming our thing. So what I've been testing in recently is so whenever our customers asking us say, hey, I probably want a certain information, so could you grab it for me? And then what we're doing is we talk to whatever backend system or external system that has that data, and then we grab it and then we send it back to whatever we're in an existing endpoint, or maybe even create a new endpoint for them. So we send it back to the Nova API. So for our testing is we just make sure our part are working fine. So a lot of time we are a lot of time because the downstream. Do you have the access to this?
Let's see.
This Slack.
I do have access to them. Yep.
Yeah. So you see you are in this channel, and then there's a lot of people coming asking us, hey, we have issues. Please take a look. Blah 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 blah. So a lot of time is, for example, this one. It's saying, hey, something is calling is failing, and then that's because one of our downstream probably is done or hasn't have been some problem. So a lot of time we're dealing the issue with that our downstream is giving us a back data or bias data. So that our customers is experience issues here. That's so I don't know. I think you probably need to talk to Goku. Is his your team lead?
Yes.
In that way? Yeah. So I think we have a different aspect of testing between two teams. So I'm not really sure what he wants you to do. But I'm just saying from my perspective, we're doing the testing to make sure, for example, we want to get a certain. Do you have a Postman setup?
I do have a Postman setup, but I don't have actually access to the collections that you guys are using. I
can share you with some collections, and you can take a look. But they are I did not update the Team Tools collections, so I have and look at yeah. So basically,
Liz, can I ask a question? Right now, most of your tests you are performing in Postman.
Yes, we do have an automation script, but we are doing migrating on it. So so between the phrase, we're doing it on the Postman. So this I can send you this one. And so you see those some of them are team one's endpoint, and then some of them are team two's endpoint. I think you can even take a look at what they look like here. Don't know what's yeah. So you can take a look. Maybe you can't call it, but you can understand what's the postman look like, what's the body looks like, and some attributes look headers look like.
Oh, definitely.
Things like that. So
And
I can send this one to you.
yes, please. And you said that you are doing sometimes automation. Can you show me that automation one, please?
So I actually so also okay, wait a second, let me see where to start. So here's our big bucket.
Yeah.
And then we have I'm not really sure what's the team tools. So you see, we have a few EMT related repo, and then why they have two? Okay, let's see what's going on here. Okay, I don't think this one has been maintaining for a long time. Okay, how about let me show you this one. This one is the one I'm currently using, and so there's a repository called integration test suite, and then this repository is a JavaScript repository, surprisingly. So what we are doing is we combine JavaScript with the Postman Newman, so that we can run the Postman collections on the pipeline. So let me open it. So I think these things you will need it first. So are you familiar with the pipeline?
Right now the thing that you guys are using here, the Gradle. I'm trying to figure out what's that. I never use the Gradle. Is it?
Okay. Yeah, Gradle actually it's not. I actually, to be honest, we don't. The developer will help us on it, so I normally didn't touch it too much. So I can't really explain to you on that. It's same thing as Maven. If you have some experience with Maven, it's just different. So this one does not have a Gradle, but this one has it. So for the Java project, we were using Gradle, and then this is the JavaScript project, so we don't have it, but I can show you. So this is basically the Gradle. So you have a different plugin here, and then you have just basically it's a building management system, right? So they just do all the dependency, which is also the library we want for the testing, or in the service code, also for the service code. And this is a testing repository, so we only have it for testing. And also, so here you can create the different tasks to run in the pipeline. So when we do run in the pipeline, let me show you what's the pipeline.
Yes, please.
So we have this ACCP. I'm not really sure what it is, but we do. I can't really explain the full name and what's the full function, but the backend is kind of a Jenkins, I believe. So we do our build here, we do our deploy here. So speaking of deploy, because a build is normally developer's job, so you don't need to worry too much. But deploy is what we normally will touch to. So so you see we have a different environment. So IST is normally kind of a small scale of testing environment. So we do ISD testing, and then we do UAT testing. And after UAT, normally we'll go to the productions. But I know we have so NFT is for the performance testing. And then I'm not really sure about stage. Probably it is some kind of beta testing before the production. So
as much as I know, NFT they build on top of the Python. They don't want us to touch it right now. Maybe later on.
Sorry.
As much as I know, NFT project they build it on top of Python. That's why they don't want us to touch it right now. They say maybe later on.
Okay, yeah, they do. We have an NFT testing within Marvel, and then outside of Marvel, within digital, they have another team who is doing NFT testing like in a real data. So yeah, I actually had so don't worry about NFT too much for now. So if you go into IST, so when our code is ready, and then we need to deploy to the cloud. This is the cloud environment. So for other people to testing it for downstream, because when we're doing changes, our clients they want to do a testing themselves too, and same as us. So it will go to the IST first, and then once IST is okay, and then when the QA is ready, so QA here means the downstream QA. So normally we will start testing on IST and also as well as UAT. And then, so it will deploy to the UAT. So this UAT will be a bigger testing environment that will contain all the downstream systems as well. So even the external one, they will link into the UAT for if we need it, we need them for the testing. And where's the page? And then so here's the deployment. So basically we will have some. I will show why this one don't have it. Let me okay. So this is a team-wide project, but I can show you what's the testing
Please.
in here.
Please.
So you see, during the pipeline, we have a few different kind of deployments. So besides UAT normally have they have a few different UAT environment. So depends on what kind of release, like release is. So everyone, for example, they make it so you see blue and green. I can't really explain this one, but I can just say testing. We have some testing called acceptance testing. So which means we need to get a security approval before we do the product release. So that's where it comes in. And acceptance testing basically is happy path testing for all the endpoints we have here. So if you see here, I have some collections for acceptance testing, the pipeline here. So this is the acceptance testing. So basically what we need to do, like when you do I don't have the EMT here, but when you do a stock payment, so first of all, you will need to log in. So this is where we get the tokens. And after that, you run each endpoint online servers and make sure it's returning 200. That's just a kind of a basic testing we do, but we need it for every release to get a security approval. So the repo I'm showing up here of this one.
Yes, please.
This one is for the acceptance testing. So you see we have a different Postman collections, and we have this environment. So if you find out this stock payment one, this is actually we just export from here. we just export from here to this repo, and then we hook when we connect it up with the environment.
Liz, can you show me how you are exporting it, please, one more time?
Yeah, sure. So if you just go to these three dots, export, and then you find because I have that service download in my local, so I have it here, ITV, and let's see where it is. This one. So you see, you go into the collections, and this is all the collections we'll do, and then the environment it goes to in here, and then so you just save here.
I see.
So yeah, and then that's I guess when you see the code, you will be more familiar with how it's working, even though it is using JavaScript. But it's a very simple JavaScript. So basically, it's not like a fancy. Because all the text is actually in a JSON format, and then basically just what we are doing here, JSON, is just you put the name, the collections name with the environment's name, and then you can run it. So this is I think this is the test suite that Team 2 is using a lot. So we are Team 1 recently we're using it as well because this is a faster way. Another issue with our testing is we were running into data issue. So for example, if you want to go to just basically when you log into your online banking, first thing it shows you is all the accounts you have, like what's the balance and how many accounts you have there, right?
Yes.
So I think that's what we call a summary. So basically, but a lot of time is that we need to give a card number to log in. So when you know like you have a bank card, like the plastic card you have online, and then within that card you may have a saving account, you may have a checking account, and then you can also connect it to a credit card, and maybe you have a loan there and something like that. So basically it's just that a lot of time we need to find the correct testing data for certain changes, right? So for example, you made the changes on the e-transfer, and the e-transfer is only doing on the checking account. So you need to find a card with the account, and then that account has the ability to do e-transfer, things like that. So but the issue with our testing is that a lot of time those cards either has a problem. So whatever is being logged, a password expired or card expired, or certain test data is not created. So yeah, so that's why we are handling a lot with finding the correct testing data for testing.
I see. So Liz, a quick question. Thanks for everything. So you are writing a Postman, and then you are extracting it to the IntelliJ, and you are running it on IntelliJ for automation purpose. That's how you are automating it, correct?
So far for this project, yes. But normally for our regular testing, we will do running on the Postman because just kind of a manual testing on the Postman, just make sure everything is good. And after testing is good, you start moving things to the IntelliJ because you don't want to code it when it is unstable. You want to code it when it is stable. So that's where we make a regression.
Okay, so you are extracting it from here to the IntelliJ, and you are running. Can you show me how you are running Postman in IntelliJ?
Yeah. So for example, this is the only project that's using Postman. If we are so if we are dealing with the Java project, then we don't extract it, we code it, just like we convert the Postman collections to Java code. But because this one is JavaScript, so that's pretty easy. So basically, you just explore it to here. So this is where's the account? So this is the account. You just extract here and change the name to this format.
Okay.
And also you need to have the environment in the same format too, but ending with the environment. And then in the package.json, you just do integration. So this one, integration test. So this is the service name,
Okay.
and then it will run this one. So basically, this is easy. So you just do running, and then you will start running for each endpoint. I have in the Postman.
Yep.
And then this is only we run it local, but later on, because this one should be run on the pipeline. So, but the logic is the same. It's just the pipeline will run it automatically. So once you run it and everything is good, then you are most likely to get a security approval for this one. So this we call it acceptance testing, and this is only the purpose is that to get a security approval for the release. But you want to have more detailed testing, right? Not just get